Something you mentioned before was that certain politicians may or may not have a belief in climate change. How do you think that I mean, where are we now compared to say 5-6 years ago, as far as, getting that? Is it a given now? Like, is it quite rare for someone to deny that science now? Or what's happening in that space?
Yeah, there has been a real shift, and probably 5, certainly 10 years ago, if I was in Parliament House, then you could assume that, in the order of, around half of the politicians were a bit skeptical about climate change, and therefore, you're skeptical about climate change. Why would you want to see more renewable energy? And there's a logic to that. I obviously believe in climate change and have for many, many years, but I think we've seen a real shift in that. And now, there are still a small number of politicians who don't believe in climate change. Some of them keep that opinion to themselves, and they kind of now bury that opinion. Others are still more open about it. But clearly the science has moved so far. The evidence is so uncontroversial now that they really are on the fringe. I think the bigger challenge that we now face as an industry is, I think our political decision makers generally accept the fact of climate change. The judgment for them now is what's the pace at which we should shift from particularly coal to renewables, and is there a role for gas somewhere in the middle of that transition? And so, if you believe in the seriousness of climate change, then that probably leads you to a faster acceleration. If you sort of don't believe that climate change is all that serious and immediate, then you'd be comfortable with a slower transition. But the other thing I think, Sean, that's happened beyond climate change, and I've spent a lot of time with, say, people in the National Party and those country MPs. What's happened over the last particularly 5 years is they've now seen, whether it be wind farms or rooftop solar or large-scale solar projects, they've seen them out in their electorate and in their towns, and they've seen what benefits they bring. They've seen the jobs that come with it. They've seen the industry build. They probably know the local concrete supplier is supplying concrete to the wind farm or the solar farm. There's a business down the road that installs solar. They know the installers, their neighbours got solar, and that worked out really well. And actually, they're now saving money on their power bill. So I think the thing that's changed is, as our industry's grown and built critical mass, we've demonstrated that this isn't just about climate change. It's about jobs. It's about driving down power bills. It's about economic activity, particularly in sort of out in rural and regional parts of the country. And so that, you don't need to believe in climate change to see that there's a real economic strength to our industry, and that's been probably the bigger game changer for the politics in this country, and to be honest, I think right around the world.